Okay, so maybe you've heard of this book, The Last Thing He Told Me,
Mm,
and you're thinking about reading it, but you just want to know,
right.
is it worth my time?
Mhm.
Is this actually a good thriller,
Yeah.
or is it more of a slow burn kind of mystery?
So, from looking at the description and reading the reviews myself, um, I'd say it leans more towards mystery,
Okay.
but not necessarily like a hardcore thriller.
Okay, so it's not like super action-packed.
Not
Yeah.
really, no. It's definitely more character driven,
Right.
and the suspense builds from the relationships and the secrets.
Gotcha. So give me the premise. What's this book actually about?
All right, so picture this. Your husband vanishes,
Oh, no.
right? And the only thing he leaves behind is this cryptic note.
Okay.
And all it says is protect her,
Who's her?
his teenage daughter,
Ugh.
from a previous marriage.
Okay, so we've got some family drama already.
Exactly. And you're the stepmother.
Oh, boy.
So you're suddenly thrust into this mystery trying to figure out what happened to your husband while also navigating this, tricky relationship with your stepdaughter.
That sounds pretty intense. I can see how that would be more character-focused.
Yeah, it's really about how their relationship changes as they try to uncover the truth about the missing husband.
Okay, so it's not just a whodunit. It's more about the emotional journey.
Precisely. The mystery is the driving force, but the heart of the story lies in the characters and their relationships.
Interesting. I like that. So what about the writing style? Is it a difficult book to get through?
Not at all. Actually, the writing has been praised for being both immersive and fast-paced.
Okay, so it's a page-turner.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not in a way that overwhelms you with details.
Right, right.
The author, Laura Dave, she does a fantastic job of balancing the suspense with character development.
Oh.
She gives you just enough information to keep you guessing, but she also takes the time to really flesh out the characters.
I like that I get kind of annoyed when a book is all plot and no heart.
Right, exactly.
And
And this book definitely avoids that trap.
so tell me more about the characters. What are they like?
Well, the main character, Hannah, the stepmother, she's really the one we follow throughout the story.
Okay.
And then there's Bailey, the daughter, who's, understandably wary of Hannah at first.
Makes sense. I mean, her dad just disappeared.
Exactly. But as they're forced to work together
Yeah.
to figure out Owen's secrets, they start to see each other in a new light.
That forced to work together thing could be a bit cliche sometimes.
It can, but I think it works here because it really allows for some genuine character growth.
Okay, so you think these characters actually feel like real people?
From what I've read, that's one of the things readers are praising.
Okay.
They say the characters feel complex and relatable, especially Hannah.
Yeah.
You really feel for her. She's dealing with the shock of her husband's disappearance,
Right.
trying to decipher these cryptic clues he left behind, and all while dealing with a skeptical teenager.
Sounds like a lot to handle.
Oh, it is. And that's what makes the story so gripping. You're invested in Hannah's journey, and you want to see how she navigates this whole mess.
You know, it reminds me a bit of Big Little Lies.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Remember how that book just sucked you into the lives of those mothers?
Yeah.
Their secrets, their struggles. It felt so real.
Oh, absolutely. I think The Last Thing He Told Me has that same kind of pull.
Okay.
It draws you into the characters' inner lives and makes you question everything.
I loved Big Little Lies.
Mm.
I just remember being so frustrated by all the coincidences.
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes those plot contrivances can be a bit much.
Right? It's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
All this is happening at once.
Well, now I haven't finished The Last Thing He Told Me myself.
Okay.
But from what I've gathered, it does rely on some familiar mystery tropes.
Okay.
And there might be moments that feel a bit too convenient.
So it's not a perfect book.
No book is, but from what I've seen, a lot of reviewers said those elements didn't detract from the overall enjoyment of the story.
I can see that. It's all about the balance, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
You want a gripping plot, but you don't want it to feel totally unbelievable.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a really complex, mind-bending mystery with shocking twists, this one might not be for you.
Okay.
But if you're looking for a well-paced story
Right.
with strong characters, emotional depth, and a focus on family relationships, then I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
So it sounds like The Last Thing He Told Me delivers on its promise of a captivating family mystery
Yeah,
with a strong emotional core.
absolutely.
That-
Definitely keeps you engaged.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It-
But tell me more about the mystery itself. What kind of secrets are we talking about here?
Well, one of the things that adds to the intrigue is the use of flashbacks.
Oh, flashbacks.
Yeah.
Sometimes those can be annoying.
I know, right? Sometimes they feel like info dumps.
Yeah.
But in this case, the flashbacks actually deepen the mystery
Okay.
rather than just explaining it.
How so?
Well, as Hannah uncovers more about Owen's past, we get these glimpses into their relationship
Mm.
from her perspective, and it makes you question everything you thought you knew about him.
Ooh, that's clever.
Uh-huh.
It's like you're solving the puzzle alongside Hannah.
Exactly, and it keeps you guessing the whole time.
You know, it kind of reminds me of The Silent Patient,
Oh yeah, good comparison.
where the protagonist is also trying to piece together this mystery from very limited information.
Yeah.
And the flashbacks provide these crucial clues.
Right, and like the silent patient, the last thing he told me creates this real sense of unease and paranoia.
Okay.
You're constantly wondering who to trust and if the people closest to you are really who they seem.
Ooh, I like that.
But unlike the silent patient, which is very much focused on psychological suspense,
Right.
this one brings in the family dynamics aspect.
Right. So we've got the mystery, the suspense,
Yes.
but also this emotional layer of a family trying to find their way back to each other.
It's a really compelling mix.
Okay. But you mentioned earlier that the book might have some predictable elements.
Yeah, some readers felt that way.
Did any specific criticisms stand out in the reviews?
Some people felt the ending was a bit too neat and tidy.
Okay.
Like it lacked that big twist or shocking reveal that they were hoping for.
So it's not like a super shocking ending.
Not necessarily, but a lot of other readers found the ending emotionally satisfying.
Uh-huh.
It seems like the author prioritizes resolving the characters' emotional arcs over delivering a huge plot twist.
You know, I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah,
Sometimes I find those over-the-top twists to be a bit gimmicky.
I agree.
I'd rather have an ending that feels true to the characters and their journeys.
Exactly. Even if it's not a complete surprise.
It's more about the emotional impact.
Exactly. And remember, this is ultimately a story about relationships.
Okay.
It's about how these characters learn to trust each other, to forgive, and to move forward.
That's a powerful message.
It is. And it's something that a lot of readers connect with.
So you mentioned the setting earlier.
Hmm.
The story moves from Sausalito, California to Austin, Texas.
That's right.
How did those different settings play into the story?
Well, the contrast between those two locations is really interesting.
Okay.
You start in Sausalito, this idyllic, almost picture-perfect town, and then you're suddenly thrust into the vibrant, chaotic energy of Austin.
Huh. So it's like the setting mirrors Hannah's emotional journey.
Exactly.
She starts in this place of comfort and familiarity, and then she's forced out of her comfort zone
Right.
as the mystery unfolds.
The author uses the setting to enhance the mood and the suspense.
Okay.
It's not just a backdrop, it's an integral part of the story.
It makes the story more immersive.
Exactly. You're not just reading about these characters, you're experiencing their world alongside them.
Okay, you've sold me. It sounds like the last thing he told me is more than just your typical thriller.
I think so.
It's a story about family secrets, trust, and the complexities of human relationships.
Definitely.
Plus, it's got a compelling mystery, well-developed characters, and vivid settings.
Good mix.
And we touched on this earlier, but you mentioned that the audiobook is really good.
Oh, yeah, a lot of reviewers have raved about it.
I'm a big audiobook fan, so I'm always curious about the narrator.
Well, the narrator for this one is Rebecca Lohman, and people are saying she really brings the characters to life.
Ooh, I love when a narrator can do that.
Yeah, it adds a whole other layer to the story.
Especially with a book like this where there's so much focus on emotional nuance and dialogue.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing Hannah's fear, Bailey's skepticism, Owen's mysterious voice in the flashbacks, it just adds to the immersion.
You know, you're right. I think I might have to go with the audiobook for this one.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
Okay. But before I make my final decision, I want to hear your overall verdict.
Right.
Based on everything we've discussed is The Last Thing He Told Me, a book you would recommend.
I would say yes, especially if you enjoy character-driven stories with emotional depth
Okay.
and realistic family dynamics.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So what is it about this book that makes it so memorable? What stays with readers after they finish it?
You know, it seems like it's the exploration of those complex family dynamics that leaves a lasting impression.
Okay.
The stepmother-stepdaughter relationship is particularly well portrayed.
And you're saying that a lot of readers, especially those who are familiar with blended families, found it to be very realistic.
Yeah, they said it really captures the challenges and the nuances of those relationships.
You know, I was thinking about that earlier. It seems like this book doesn't shy away from the difficulties of blending families.
Not at all. It acknowledges the awkwardness, the resentment, the baggage that comes with trying to merge two separate families.
Right. It's not always easy.
It's not, But it also shows how those relationships can evolve,
Yeah,
how understanding and empathy can emerge in unexpected ways.
that's a really powerful message.
It is, and it's something that resonates with a lot of people.
It makes you wonder if Owen hadn't disappeared. Would Hannah and Bailey have ever reached that level of understanding?
Right. Would they have remained stuck in that strained dynamic?
That's a really interesting question.
It is. It speaks to the power of shared experience and the unexpected ways that life can throw us curveballs.
And sometimes those curveballs lead to personal growth.
Exactly. They force us to confront things we might not have otherwise.
You know, this book reminds me a bit of Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
They both deal with complicated family relationships and secrets.
Right. But they approach those themes in different ways.
Yeah, Little Fires Everywhere focuses more on class and societal pressures.
Well, the last thing he told me is more about trust and betrayal within a family unit.
But they both offer really interesting insights into the human condition.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sold. This book sounds like more than just a fun escape.
I think so.
It's a story that will make me think about my own relationships, the choices we make, the secrets we keep.
And even if the ending isn't a shocking, jaw-dropping twist,
Right.
it sounds like the journey itself, the characters, their relationships, and the thought-provoking themes are what make this book so memorable.
You know what? I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's not always about the destination.
Right.
It's about the journey. And based on everything we've discussed, it sounds like The Last Thing He Told Me offers a really compelling journey.
I agree, for sure.
I'm adding it to my reading list. And thanks to your recommendation, I'm going with the audiobook.
Oh, excellent choice.
I'm excited to dive into this world and experience the emotional roller coaster firsthand.
I think you're going to love it.
Well, thank you so much for guiding me through this deep dive.
Of course, it's been a pleasure.
It's given me a much clearer understanding of what to expect from The Last Thing He Told Me, and I'm even more eager to get started.
Happy reading. I'm sure you'll find it a rewarding experience.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into The Last Thing He Told Me. Until next time, happy reading, and remember, sometimes the most captivating stories are the ones that hit closest to home.
Absolutely. And you know what else is cool about this book?
What's that?
It's set in two completely different locations.
Oh, really?
Where? So it starts in Sausalito, California.
Okay, I've heard of that. It's like that cute little town.
Yeah, exactly. Super idyllic, almost like picture perfect.
Okay.
But then the story moves to Austin, Texas.
Wow. What a contrast.
Right. It's like going from this peaceful haven to this bustling city.
I bet that adds a whole other layer to this story.
It totally does. It's not just a change of scenery. It actually reflects Hannah's emotional journey.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. She starts in Sausalito, this place of comfort and familiarity, right?
Right, like her safe space.
Exactly. And then as the mystery unfolds and things get more intense,
Yeah.
she's forced out of her comfort zone and thrust into this new, unfamiliar environment.
That's a really cool parallel. I like how the author uses the setting to kind of mirror what Hannah's going through.
And it's not just about the emotional aspect either.
Mm.
The setting also plays a role in the suspense.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about the vibe of each place. Sausalito is all calm and peaceful, right?
Right, very serene.
Exactly. But Austin is much more vibrant, chaotic, a little bit edgy even. And that shift in atmosphere really adds to the tension of the story.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Like as Hannah's world is kind of spiraling out of control, the setting also becomes more unpredictable.
Exactly. It's like the setting itself is a reflection of the mystery.
That's really clever.
Yeah.
I love when authors use setting in such a meaningful way.
Me too. It
Right.
makes the story feel so much more immersive.
Right, you're not just reading about it, you're kind of experiencing it along with the characters.
Exactly. You're right there in Sausalito, feeling the calm before the storm, and then you're right there in Austin, feeling that sense of unease and uncertainty.
Okay, I'm definitely adding this to my TBR list.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious, what is it about this book that makes it so memorable?
Well, from what I've gathered, it's the exploration of those complex family dynamics that really stays with readers.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but I want to dig a little deeper.
Sure.
What specifically about the family relationships is so impactful?
I think it's the honesty.
Yeah.
It doesn't shy away from the challenges of blending families.
You mean like the awkwardness, the resentment?
Exactly, all of that. It acknowledges that it's not always easy to bring two families together.
Right. It's not all sunshine and roses.
Definitely not. But it also shows how those relationships can evolve.
Right.
How understanding and empathy can emerge in unexpected ways.
Like through this shared experience of trying to solve the mystery.
Exactly. It forces Hannah and Bailey to confront their preconceived notions about each other
Right.
and to ultimately find some common ground.
It makes you wonder, if Owen hadn't disappeared, would they have ever gotten to that point?
That's a great question. It really makes you think about the power of adversity.
Yeah, like sometimes it takes something really difficult
Right.
to bring people closer together.
And to force them to grow.
It reminds me a bit of Little Fires Everywhere,
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
which also deals with complicated family relationships.
It had secrets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they approach those themes from different angles.
Right. Little Fires Everywhere is more about class and societal pressures,
Yeah.
while The Last Thing He Told Me is more about trust and betrayal within a family unit.
But they both offer these really powerful insights into the human condition.
That's-
Okay, I'm convinced The Last Thing He Told Me is more than just a fun read.
Yeah.
It's a story that will stay with me. It'll make me think about my own relationships,
Yeah.
the choices we make,
Absolutely.
the secrets we keep.
And even if the ending isn't this huge, shocking twist,
Right.
it sounds like the journey itself is what makes this book so special.
Exactly. It's about the characters, their growth, their connections.
For sure.
Okay, so final verdict. Would you recommend this book?
Absolutely. If you're looking for a character-driven story
Yeah.
with emotional depth and realistic family dynamics,
Okay.
then this one is definitely worth checking out.
All right, you've convinced me. I'm adding it to my reading list. And I'm going with the audiobook.
Oh, great choice. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Thanks for the recommendation. I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, me too.
So what are we diving into next time?
We're diving into the world of artificial intelligence next time.
Ooh, that sounds fascinating. I'm already intrigued.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We're going to be looking at some of the latest advancements in AI and discussing the potential impact on society.
That's a big topic. There's so much to unpack there.
Yeah, there is. But that's what makes it so interesting.
Right. It's one of those things that's constantly evolving.
Exactly.
All right.
And it's raising all sorts of questions about the future.
I can't wait to dive into that. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Right.
let's wrap up our conversation about The Last Thing He Told Me.
Okay, sounds good.
So we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about the plot, the characters, the setting, the audiobook even.
Yeah, we've pretty much dissected the whole book.
But I want to end on this note. What is it about this story that really sticks with people after they finish it?
That's a good question. You know, I think it's the emotional resonance. It's a story that stays with you because it makes you feel things.
Okay, but what specifically makes it so emotionally resonant?
Well, for one thing, the characters are so well developed.
Yeah, we talked about that.
You really feel like you know them. You understand their motivations. You empathize with their struggles.
And that makes their journey all the more impactful.
Exactly. You're invested in their happiness, their pain, their growth.
And then there's the exploration of family relationships.
Right. Which is so central to the story.
It's not just about the mystery, it's about the bonds between these characters.
And the way those bonds are tested and ultimately strengthened.
I think that's what resonates with readers. It's that reminder that even in the face of adversity,
Yeah.
family can be a source of strength and support.
Absolutely. And that even when things are messy and complicated,
Right.
love can still prevail.
That's a beautiful message.
Eh,
And it's one that's particularly relevant in today's world.
I agree. We all need a little bit of hope and reassurance.
And sometimes we find that hope in the most unexpected places.
Like in a mystery novel about a missing husband and a strained stepmother-stepdaughter relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny how fiction can sometimes teach us so much about real life
Right. It can hold up a mirror to our own experiences.
and help us to make sense of the world around us.
I think that's one of the reasons why we keep coming back to stories.
They offers escape. Yes.
But also insight and connection.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure discussing The Last Thing He Told Me with you.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic to explore.
Until then, happy reading.
And remember, keep those pages turning.